welcome back to Viewpoint TV. If it's your first time here, welcome. I'm Dalia, and this is our second episode of Tea Talk Tuesday. So let's get right into it, and you might want to grab your tea because this is going to be a hot topic. So today's topic for Tea Talk Tuesday is menstrual taboo. This is a topic that I really wanted to discuss because we are fortunate enough here in North America to have the means, the education about what is menstruation. It's also known as period. So what is the menstrual taboo? I'm going to give a brief definition. It's any social taboo concerned with menstruation. In some society, it involves menstruation being perceived as unclean or embarrassing, extending even to the mention of menstruation both in public, so that could be whether it's through advertisement in the media, and in private, so sometimes it's amongst friends, if there's male friends, family. Many traditional religions consider menstruation ritually unclean. So that's the general gist of what menstruation taboo is. But before I dive into what the menstruation taboo is, where it is, where we see it, I think we should get to the basics and discuss what menstruation is. What is a period? I know for some of you, you're probably like, really, who doesn't know that at this point? But I mean, I might have viewers that are very young who may not know. I might have viewers who maybe come from a family that don't discuss it, and maybe they're experiencing symptoms and they're scared, and maybe it is related to menstruation. Once again, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a doctor, but I'm just putting this out there as an educational mean, and also maybe this video will help take away this taboo of what menstruation is. A normal vaginal bleeding that occurs as part of a woman's monthly cycle. Every month, the woman's body prepares for pregnancy. If she's not pregnant, the uterus or womb sheds its lining. Menstruation or period, the menstrual blood, is partially blood and partially tissue from the inside of the uterus. It passes out of the body through the vagina. Now, I'm looking down here because I have my laptop and I don't want to give or say anything that's wrong, so I got this off of some medical sites, and hopefully if any of you are doctors or in the health field, hopefully I didn't say anything wrong. So women get symptoms when they're on their period and before their period. Most of us call it PMS, and that stands for premenstrual syndrome. And obviously no one's really gonna say all the time, oh, I'm getting my premenstrual syndrome. No, we just say, oh, I have PMS right now, or I'm experiencing PMS. Some symptoms are different and vary from one woman to another. Some symptoms that happen before the period and sometimes during the period could be anything from lower back pain, bloating, sore breasts, food cravings, mood swings and irritability, headache, and fatigue. Now, like I said, these symptoms vary from woman to woman. It's not going to be the same thing for every woman. How can these symptoms be alleviated? Once again, I'm not a doctor, but anything from naproxen, Aleve. Some women take birth control, some people have IUDs. These are just certain things that might help with serious pain or serious cramp. Now, obviously, you would probably have to go to your doctor or a gynecologist to ask more about that. You may not be the right candidate for these medications, so you should probably consult your doctor. So who menstruates? Well, that's kind of a given. Women menstruate, but I'm getting more to specific of what age. So it varies anywhere between 11 and 14, and it goes all the way up until menopause, which is a whole other topic, which is around 51 or could be in 40s. So once again, every woman is different, every young woman is different. Maybe someone might get it before 11, maybe after 14. It's something that just varies from woman to woman. Not all the symptoms are the same. The period doesn't come at the same time, and it certainly doesn't go away at the same time from woman to woman. The cycle itself will not be the same for every woman. Some women might experience the cycle or the period itself to go, you know, anywhere between 3 to 5 days. Some people experience it for 8 days. Some women experience it for weeks, for months. So it really varies from woman to woman. What do women use when they get their period? They use sanitary products. So they use anything from pads, tampons, Diva cups. There's even, I hear recently there's like this new thing, and it's like period underwear. Again, we are fortunate here in North America. I would say most of us. It is expensive, but you know, you get the period once a month for, like I said, however long, whether it's 3 to 5 days, 2 days, a week, whatever months. And we are fortunate enough to have the drugstores here where we can go purchase these sanitary products. And you know, some women even in North America don't have the means to go get it. There's, I believe, you know, there's organizations that can provide that. You know, in some countries across the world, women don't have it at all. It may not even be a financial situation, it just, they may not have it. And I'm pretty sure there are organizations that send sanitary products to these countries. If I find them, I will link them below in the description box. So like I said, the topic specifically for today is menstrual taboo. So now that we know what menstruation is, a period, we can get into what is a taboo. For those of you that don't know, a taboo is a social or religious custom prohibiting or forbidding discussion of a particular practice or forbidding association with a particular person, place, or thing. Now, you're probably wondering, well, why is it a taboo for some people? What would make something that is natural, that is God-given, if you believe in God, whatever you believe in, it's, you know, part of biology, it's part of anatomy. I also want to make a side note, maybe some women don't even get their period, you know, certain health reasons. I'm not sure, like I said, I'm not a doctor, but you know, most women do get their period. And why would it be, you know, something that we need to hide or not discuss or make it shameful? Well, certain reasons are religion. There's certain restrictions when women get their period. So in Islam, for example, when a woman gets her period, she can't pray. Also, a woman cannot lead prayer, but that's pretty much a given. If she can't pray, then she's not going to be able to lead a prayer. In general, this is very detailed, but in Islam usually men lead prayers, so, but unless it's a woman with another woman, there's no male in the home and she needs to lead the prayer, well, if one is on her period, she's not going to be able to. In Christianity as well, if a woman is a minister, then she cannot give her sermon if she's on her period. Now, this is not for all sects. I did do my research, just some sects of Christianity still practice this, but some don't do it anymore because they said that it goes by the Old Testament. That's pretty much the Judaism laws, which leads me to my next point. For Jews as well, from my understanding, she can't pray if she's on her period. In Islam and Judaism, she also cannot have intercourse if she's on her period. There's also in Hinduism, she cannot enter the kitchen or temple if she's on her period, from my understanding, and forgive me if I said anything that's incorrect. So sometimes it is a religious reason that prohibits, you know, certain practices, and it is considered unclean. You know, some places it's society, so, you know, people don't like to discuss it. Some mothers don't discuss it with their daughters, so when the daughter gets it for the first time, she might be freaking out, like, what is going on? What is this blood? I personally was fortunate enough. My mother, when I did get my period, I remember my mother told me, it's okay, it's something natural, we all get it. Don't worry. She didn't make me scared, so I was fortunate enough for that. However, there are some young women, even here in North America, who tell me, oh yeah, my mom never discussed it with me because it was something shameful that we don't discuss. I'm gonna take a little tea break. I'm drinking cinnamon tea today. Oh, so good. So yeah, for some women it was something that wasn't discussed at home. You know, there is sex ed in school, and some parents have the option of opting out from sending their kids to the sex education course, and that is something that is discussed. I remember when I was in, I think it was junior school or middle school, we were learning about the women's anatomy and male anatomy and what happens to women and hormones and things like that, and we started discussing the period, and all the boys in the class were like, oh my god, ew! There is a problem because some teachers don't emphasize that no, it's not disgusting, it's not something that is unnatural, it's very natural. Just like boys get certain things when they hit puberty, you know, girls have their own things. So, I mean, you know, education is part of it, family. It could be that a child's living with their father, a single father, and they never have that kind of relationship with their father, and they never spoke about it with their, you know, with their daughter. So it really varies. So I feel like I'm drifting off here a little bit. So let's go back to taboos. So we went through religion and society. It really depends on every society, but I remember one time when I went to Egypt, I went to the convenience store to get some pads, and the man that was working at the cash, he took the package of my pads and he wrapped it up in newspaper and he put it in a black bag, and you know, he's like, okay, you know, ma'am, have a nice day. And I walked out and I was just like, what is going on? Like, I was so confused. I remember going home that day to my mom and saying, what just happened? Why did this man wrap it up in newspaper? Like, why? And I felt so ashamed. I remember I went home that day, and maybe I didn't really express it to my mother then, but I remember I did question why he did that. And I remember my mom saying something along the lines of like, oh, you know, just out of respect, he didn't want to, you know, embarrass you or anything like that. People don't really need to know that you're taking sanitary pads home. But I mean, coming from North America, it's very different because here, you know, I can go to the Shoppers Drug Mart, go get my pads taken and go home. It's in a plastic bag or whatever. It's not a big deal. It was really interesting to deal with that. And once again, that comes from culture, I believe. You know, women don't really discuss their period amongst, if men are around, whether it's family or friends, which is kind of ironic because not to say everyone in Egypt, for example, is Muslim, but in Muslim families, when a woman can't pray, well, all the males in the household know that she's on her period. So, and you know, sometimes a man will be like, hey, do you want to pray? And if the woman says no, then, you know, he gets it, like, okay, cool, okay, bye. So it's interesting. As much as it's not something that is discussed, it kind of is discussed or unspoken. It's really interesting. So this is a problem because it shouldn't be something that a woman should feel ashamed of. You know, it's something very natural that every or most women experience. And I feel like if in society, you know, women educated men or men became a little bit more open-minded depending on the culture to say, hey, like, it's okay. I remember even for me, once again, I'm fortunate in that sense. Even my father, he naturally, like, he spoke about it with me as well. I remember that day when I got my period because I guess my mom told him, she was like, oh my gosh, she's a woman now. And I was like, oh god. And I remember it's weird, like naturally I felt like, oh god, like why are we talking about this when, because society already has something instilled in our minds that, oh my god, it's not something we should be talking about with guys. But I remember my dad being like, it's okay, it's something natural, you're a woman now, and that's something that women get. But again, that's not something that every young woman has, you know, in her family. So, you know, that's a little unfortunate, and I'm sorry if you're experiencing that. I'm hoping that in the future that changes, and I guess this video, what I'm trying to do here is try and take away that taboo and that stigma, and hopefully it changes in the future, that the next generation, the men can also feel just as comfortable to speak about it with their daughters or whatever it may be. It's not just in the Middle East. In North America, we have a lot of taboo when it comes to menstruation. Sometimes, you know, you'll notice as well in a group of friends, if two girls are discussing, or they're telling each other like, yeah, I'm experiencing these symptoms today because I'm on my period. You know, she'll whisper period if there's guys around, because it's something that, you know, shouldn't be discussed. But I find that now, depending on the group of friends that you have, it's people are a little bit more open-minded. Again, depends on the group of friends that you have. You know, sometimes now women will be like, yeah, I'm on my period, that's why I'm feeling this way. And I find that sometimes guys, they don't comment. Like, it is what it is. Okay, she's on her period, if they hear anything. There's also media. I'm sure most of you have seen when there is a commercial going on for pads, the liquid that is placed on the pad is a blue liquid. And there have been many discussions around this topic. Why are we putting blue liquid on pads? I mean, when I get my period, it ain't blue, I can tell you that. So, you know, it's just interesting, like, why do we do that? Well, I looked into it a little, and blue is usually associated with purity. I know, purity. So when they do that, they don't want to make people cringe, you know, like, oh god, blood. So they use blue liquid. I personally think it wouldn't be the end of the world. And I don't think it'd be something wrong. I think it would look realistic. I mean, if we see a commercial and there is a car crash or something and they're talking about don't drink and drive, and you see the person in the car crash bleeding or whatever it may be, that's pretty graphic. So why can't, you know, advertisements for pads just use water and put some red food coloring in it and put it on the pad? Like, it shouldn't. So these things are obviously instilled into people's minds when they're watching TV, that, oh my god, it's unnatural to see red liquid on a pad in a pad commercial. So if that were to change, maybe people would become a little bit more open-minded. It's blood, it's not something that's unnatural. Mothers, I think it's very important that, or fathers, that you discuss it with your daughter, you know, when you think it's appropriate, the right time, when she gets it, or whether it's before she gets it, or if you don't feel comfortable doing that, or you don't know how to do it, maybe you could print some stuff off the internet and give it to your daughter and be like, hey, this is what it is. Or, you know, at school, making sure that they go to their sex education class and learning about it. And also, if you have a son, to tell them about it, you know, so they know that it's not something that's shameful. To also be understanding if, you know, if there's a brother and sister, for the brother to know what's going on, or cousins or friends, whatever it may be. If it came from the home and it became something that's natural and not a taboo, then that will make a difference in society. Her symptoms, so her mood, she might be really depressed and irritated or angry, and she might be scared, you know, and depression, it can get really serious. Maybe it might lead to suicidal thoughts even, and it might be scary, very scary, if she doesn't know why she's experiencing these kind of thoughts. You know, to have someone tell her, okay, well, you know, just to let you know, when you get your period, you know, these symptoms might happen. Now, obviously, if it's depression and it prolongs after she's off her period, then that might need some other kind of clinical attention. But in regards to a period, knowing, oh, these symptoms that I'm experiencing, okay, it's due to that. That can create a little bit of ease for a young woman. So, you know, if we start off with these basic things in the house, then outside of the home, it's not going to be a taboo. It won't be shameful. I understand that this video may not reach everyone, and I don't know how helpful it will be Again, Tea Talk Tuesday is all about discussions. It might be something really deep, something light. So I thought this was something important that needed to be discussed. And I understand, for example, there might be some areas in the world where there is a lack of education about this for whatever reason it may be. And I don't know, I hope maybe there's a way that can change. It's obviously not our duty to change someone else's culture, but education about something is very important. So I think whether there's doctors, if they go to, you know, like Doctors Without Borders, if they go to different countries to speak about it to mothers so they can talk about it to their daughters. If daughters don't have their mothers around in the picture, you know, to tell these young women what it is, you know, telling the men, giving that kind of education is very important. I think it's very important for anyone, whether it's a man or a woman, to know your body. But you know, when you're a woman, there's certain things that can happen as well. If things are going wrong with your period, there might be some reasons that need to be looked into clinically. So maybe there's cysts that need some sort of medication, whether you believe in pharmaceutical drugs or not in the natural way. So that's it for today's Tea Talk Tuesday. I hope you enjoyed this topic. Leave your comments below, maybe some of your experiences as a young woman, now what you've been through, and let's take away that stigma. Let's talk about it. Let's make it an open discussion. Let's not make it shameful. Let's not categorize it as unnatural. Anyways, like the video, subscribe, leave your comments below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.